Hey guys, welcome back to Chris and Retro. Tonight's video is a little hard to do. I'll be honest with you because I've been on both sides of the fence. The topic that I'm going to discuss tonight, and hopefully, I'll be honest. My selfish intent here is to hopefully speak some sense into people that are actually in active use from addiction. I don't know that it's going to work, honestly. But I've been on both sides of it. At times I try to lean towards those that I call the hostages, the people that are loved ones and family members that are waiting for their loved one to kind of wake up and come out of their mess. Fact is we wait an awful long time. And sometimes we don't see what we dreamed of. I've also been the one that holds people hostage. And while my journey is not perfect and I have a long way to go, I'm still in my recovery journey. I'm still here in front of you, doing the work that I was assigned to do by a power greater than me that was born out of the fact that I decided to move forward in my sobriety on September 11th of 2017. I'm cautious about that language because I see a lot of people get derailed with sober dates and with, measuring up to what sobriety looks like for everybody. And I don't think we all have it. None of us have the same story. We just like even in the big book, there's many variations of what an addict is, an alcoholic is. There's also many variations of what recovery looks like. And there's also, you know, no obligation for us to match up on what the language is. What we have an obligation to is to make sure that those that we've signed up for, we're giving them every fighting chance. And those of us that are in recovery, we're going to any length to find better days. Now, I did a lot of qualifying prior to those statements because I find we get hung up on language more so than the work in recovery. And the recovery community in general is more hung up about the language of stigma than the behavior that causes stigma. I think both need to be addressed. I think that we have a lazy, well, that is not fair. We have a community that is so sick of the nonsense of addiction that they're getting caught up in the rut of bucketing people. On the flip side of it, addiction and the people that are in active use have in some respects caused a lot of that stigma. So how do we move beyond that situation? How do we come to a common ground when you've got a whole host of active users doing the very same things that cause stigma for those that are really trying to get better? And I'm not sure we're going to solve that problem here today, but what I am going to do is address a few things I think head on here. And hopefully if you have somebody that is in active use, or if you are in active use, please listen to me. This is directly to those that are currently using and profess to want to get better. So if you're telling us all that you want to get better and that you're trying, this is for you. Your excuses and your reasons don't matter. What is seen by those around you, the support system that is trying to love you, is they see you disappearing all the time. They see you fading. They vacillate between, do I let them go because I'm done? Or do I stay long enough because they'll get better and I just need to hold on tighter or closer or whatever decision they've made to stay close? Your lies are pointless. They're pointless uses of energy. They're pointless words. For those that have been in active use for a long time, or those that have been back and forth, your lies are so evident because one thing that's very sure about addiction is it's a pattern of behavior. There's a very obvious pattern of behavior. For those that have been around you long enough, there's no point in lying because your behavior reveals all. All lying does is show a level of disrespect for those around you that says that I think I'm being slick and I don't respect you enough to tell you the truth about what's going on. Your lies are evident. They're pointless. Now, having been somebody in active use, my lies were my way to deal with the guilt of knowing that I'm doing the thing I said I wasn't going to do. My lies are ways for me to get just 5 more minutes, just one more use, one more day, 1 more minute, whatever it is. My lies are the false notion that I've told myself, and the biggest lie, the lie I'm telling myself, is that I just need one more. I just need this minute and I'll get better whenever that is tomorrow. Now, for my active use, that was a problem because on the show, I've professed 3 triggers: controlling behavior, fear, and procrastination. So if my lies are a way for me to procrastinate for just today in my mind, and they'll get better tomorrow, that in of itself for this alcoholic is my addiction in full bloom. Now, my mind might be trying to convince you that tomorrow I'm going to quit, but what's actually happening before our very eyes, both of us, as we sit here, I would be manifesting for you my actual addiction, the procrastination portion of it. The promise of a tomorrow that's better when actually there's nothing going on today to make it better. You know, the fights we pick in active use. Oh my gosh. One of the more baffling things to me in active use is my ability to take the inventory of every single person around me when I'm an absolute burning dumpster fire. I can accuse, penalize, whatever it is, ostracize, whatever word you want to associate with making somebody look bad and trying to do what I can do to paint them as a picture of just such an awful person. And most times they're the reason why I'm doing whatever I'm doing in that moment. When yet my day in and day out activity within the active use, I have no place to stand to do inventory. But why do we do that? Well, I think a lot of times we do it is just to pass that energy on to you. So now it's, you can't look at me because I'm defending my position and putting you in a bad spot. You know, your penalties, this like, well, I'll take care of myself. How many times you hear somebody in active use say, I'm going to take care of myself? Well, no, you're not. Actually, you're unable to. There's one of the basics of addiction is that life has become unmanageable. One of the basics of getting better is understanding that my life, Chris, as an active alcoholic, was unmanageable and I couldn't take it anymore. So I needed to turn it over. I needed to recognize there was a power beyond me that would take it, and I needed to take it over. But until I knew my life was unmanageable and recognized it, knew it in my heart, and until I was willing to recognize there was something beyond me that could take something I could not do anything about, until I was willing to actually turn that over to that power beyond me, I wasn't even off the ground. All the excuses, all the I'm trying, I'm working really hard. I want to, I'd like to, I've been doing this, but it's not consistent. I'm doing better than I used to. All that crap doesn't matter for anything if you're still in the middle of this thing and on top of it manifesting these other behaviors when those around you are trying to love you. They're trying to find a way to stay close to you because they can't figure out how to survive doing that. It's personal to me. This conversation I'm having with you tonight is the most intimate, personal conversation I could ever have with you. This is personal to me in a way that nothing more that I could share with you more personal in terms of life. I have friends and loved ones that are struggling doing the exact dance I just described. I find myself in situations constantly evaluating, what's my role? Should I be distant? What if I could have been one more option? At the same time, I have my own recovery journey. And here's the interesting, this is perplexing to me actually, and it just came to my mind as I'm thinking about this conversation, is that for those of us on a recovery journey, and we've got a little bit more under our belt, and we've had a few seasons where we've been really pressed and we made it through, we really think we have all the answers, and we really don't. And I think that's important for me to understand too. I don't have all the answers. So my positioning and my posture and the way that I deliver my message of hope to somebody else really has to be one that has angles and nuance to understand what they're going through and what their version of the story is. But what can't happen, and this has to be for those that are for myself, for you, if you're in active use, understand those around you are not, their love is still present when they're setting healthy boundaries for themselves and those that you're hurting. If you are in active use tonight and somebody has forwarded this video, and I hope to God they have, your only option is one: break the chains. You have one option: break the chains. And you might say, oh, wow, Chris, it's a lot of users. I got this, that, and whatever going on. I got all these things going on. I'm telling you right now, I know, because my resources were limited when I broke the chains. It is a matter of stopping. I'm not saying that addiction is a choice. What I am saying is that your next use is. Because I define addiction in two different patterns. Use, the presence of addiction, is my mind's brokenness and my mind's process for how I deal with life, and my mind needing to find a way to hide and go away, and finding substance, gambling, sex addictions, social media, all these things to be the mask and the veil, working out too much, work, all these, they're all manifestations of addiction. It's not necessarily the substance itself, although it is part of the whole thing. But you can stop your next use, and you might not be able to do it alone. And in fact, I would tell you can't. But there's no place that you are in this world right now. Well, I don't know about the world, but in this country right now, that there isn't an option to have somebody to connect with. Maybe not best circumstance, maybe not face to face, but if you Googled right now, I'm sure you'd find resources that are virtual resources that you could have right now, that somebody would come alongside you and make your next best choice. But it's going to take you wanting that so much more than you want what you have. You have to be willing to go to any length to get sobriety. Now, I got some passion behind this tonight. I got to be honest with you, I do. I'm tired of addiction and the hustle. I'm sick of it. Just sick of all of it. It exhausts every source of energy around it. It's a sponge, for goodness. It gets rid of it all. It's Satan's perfect masterpiece, because we willingly, knowingly desire to go there. Your excuses, your lies, the fights you pick with other people, the reasons why I've seen the most baffling reasons why people go back to use. So they'll have a situation happen to them that was based on a choice they made, and then going to the streets to cop every single day is the solution to solve the thing that was already a high risk problem that they put themselves in. I don't understand. I mean, and I am one, I don't know why I would have done what I did. For me, my problem with being an abusive in a relationship and having DWIs under my belt and being an absolute obnoxious pain in the rear end was to drink more and to lie more and to hide more and to get more charges and to do all this crap. So look, I'm not trying to judge you for it. I'm just saying, on this side of it with a sober mind, is to say, look, man, it is a baffling beast. And I'm asking you, with whatever power you have in you or beyond you or around you, to end the use of the substance today. You only have to do it for today, and you make a brand new decision tomorrow. We got a lot of problems to solve in this world. I've talked about this country, things that we want to accomplish. Chris in Retro, my retrospective look, has a lot to do with my addiction history. It also had not only mine, but those of people who are out around me. Last night I was on a messenger with a gentleman who is a former pro fighter. Really good guy, really struggled with addiction. Still probably does, but not active use, just all that goes along with it. He's got a son that he's helped coach come up through and is now doing really well and fighting. And has got a couple amateur belts under his plate, or under his belt, no pun intended. And they've got a big event coming up, Nick's Ride, coming up here in Auburn the next few weeks. It's kind of cool, and I definitely want to check that out. I'm online with those guys and talking and chatting and understanding. And the community is so big, and I've never met him face to face, but the community is so large. And it's my point is, like, we're all there's plenty of us out there. You don't have to be alone, but it's going to take some rigor and, sidebar conversations with people like that. Get involved. There's so many options to get involved. You have to be away from your substance and sober up one day to make a difference. There could be one person you could literally go up to and say, look, I'm currently struggling, but I believe in you. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but I would like you to do it. And maybe together we can go and figure this thing out together. That's unbelievably powerful. And any number of people in rehab facilities have done that very thing. A lot of my journey was because of rehab and some individuals that I met there that also had those same commitments. Now, sadly, the ones that had those commitments with me have all relapsed. They're all full-blown active use. There's only a few of us that really get through. Be one. Don't be hopeless about it. Stop the hustle. Stop taking everybody else's inventory. Take your own. Own your own stuff. Stop the lies. Your patterns are known. Everybody around you knows. We know when you're lying. They knew when I was lying. It was a pointless exercise, and it was just nothing but disrespect. Man, I hope this video is useful. This is for the heat of the battle. This was not necessarily coming on here to say, go get them team and all this great stuff and shine the light and all that. In some respects, I hope it does shine the light. It's a matter of truth. It's a matter of this is what's up. I'm not going to sit here and do this feel-good crap that's killing people all over the place. I can sit down with somebody right now, probably 20 different people that I know, and sit down with them right now, and they're going to tell me the language I'm using is too hard, that we got to be careful about how we say things and all this crap. Forget it. You know, if I'm not intelligent enough, I guess is the best way to say it, to understand all the language I got to do to make sure I say it right to somebody. I'm just going to say it like I know it, and hopefully somebody hears it. Maybe that's what's needed, to something that we start speaking directly to people and saying, look, stop, just stop for today. Hope this video is useful to you. You know, like, subscribe, comment in the chats. But if you got a situation where things are more complicated, feel free to reach out. Chris@chrisandretro.com. I don't have the answers. I'm not a counselor. I can't advise you necessarily, but I can point you to some resources out there that could. So there's a lot of resources nationally. One thing COVID did do for us is it gave us a lot of remote options, a lot of telehealth options. So hopefully, you know, if you're in a desperate place, we can figure something out. I know there's been people that have commented on my videos so far that have had some tough times, and you're probably still going through them. There's light and there's hope, but it's not in this dumbed down candy world that says everything is all about feeling good. The breaking point and the turning point in your life is going to feel awful. It's going to feel awful because right now your only solution is something that's killing you and everybody else around you, but at least it's letting you hide. Your turning point is going to be no hiding. It's picking a fight with what's destroying you rather than have it be your only solution. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope this video was useful to you. You know, I'm going to continue to make content that's more relevant, I think, as I've been doing a lot of research recently and trying to improve the channel. There's certainly some areas that I can improve on this channel. I won't be the one that's the huge clickbait that everybody's like clamoring for the information. What I want to be is a person that's a resource for you, that plants a seed of hope for those for you and those you love, and hopefully helps them find some better days here. They're out there and they are an option. Destruction's an option too. Keep doing what you're doing. You'll see that. But you make one course correction, face the pain, face the suck, push forward, and you'll find hope and light, because there's plenty of people out there that are willing to hold out a hand and help you as long as you're willing to work. Thanks again for tuning in, guys. Between now and the next time that we talk, take a look at your own life. What are you not facing? What are you making excuses for? Indicators for me when I'm getting myself in trouble is I take more inventory about what other people are doing than what I'm doing. I find blame for every single thing or excuses for everything that I'm doing, and I don't actually own what I'm doing and find ways within me to course correct my own behavior. It's a real tell for me. If you find yourself in the same situation, see what you can do to get some help. Start digging in, rework your plan. You know, on a show that I had done before called 100 Proof Living, I always close that show out with, I believe that changed lives change lives. And I 100% do believe that. I believe that our changed lives can change lives. I'll probably start using that mantra more on here because it actually is something that's super important for me. I believe my changed life can change somebody else's life, and hopefully in a positive manner. Between now and the next time we talk, please work on the stuff that's going on in your life, and please, by all means, stay out of trouble.